Hi, I'm Chris from Philippines. Welcome to my channel. Konnichiwa minasan. Watashi no channel ni yokoso. Watashi wa Philippine, Chris desu. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for your time in watching this video. So for today's reaction video, I am watching Japanese street gutters are not this clean. This video is from this channel. Dewa sasuku, hajimemashou.
Hello world. You might have seen images of this online. Sparkling clean water flowing through street gutters in Japan. And swimming in that crystal clear water, colorful koi.
Yes.
Here's a quote from an article I found online. In most cities, drainage canals are the last place you'd expect wildlife to thrive. However, in the city of Shimabara, on Japan's Kyushu Island, the street gutters are so clean, they are home to hundreds of koi carp. That's all a giant load of crap. Not carp, but crap. What you're seeing here is a protected, sectioned-off canal that's stocked with koi, a kind of carp, for the purpose of trapping tourists.
昭和53年、町おこしのためにこの錦鯉を放流しました。すると、島原は一躍鯉の泳ぐ町となったわけなんです。
So no, this is not what street gutters, storm drains, storm sewers, drainage canals, or whatever you want to call them, are like in Japan. So, what are they like? Well, I suppose it depends on where you're located. In the inaka, the countryside, you can find these water canals that are quite clear. This is right next to the road, so I think you can call it a street gutter. But the water is also used to irrigate fields, so it's an irrigation canal? It's stormwater and irrigation water? Well, for the purposes of this video, it doesn't really matter. I can tell you though, that I saw a snake slipping and sliding down it, but I was too slow to capture it on video.
Oh, really?
Actually, you'll often see snakes, frogs, and birds hanging around in paddies where rice is grown. Now in the cities, you can find streams and canals like this. They're nice to walk along. Kids can play in them. Koi swim in them. With all these water systems I showed, even though they run along streets or sidewalks, the sources of water and the purposes for it being there vary. Some you could actually put a cup in and drink, while others you only do so after the water has been treated at a facility. Okay, so let's start off with the most visually stunning water, the one that spawns misinformation around the internet, the spring water in Shimabara. Shimabara is located in the prefecture of Nagasaki, in the southern part of Japan. The reason the water is crystal clear and drinkable is because it's spring water that wells up out of the ground. It's believed that this was triggered when Mount Unzen erupted in 1792. During that eruption, parts of the sea were filled in and a series of earthquakes occurred. It's said that this is how the cold spring started, well, springing out of the ground. Just not like this. This is a water feature. However, this is indeed the site of one of the many springs that popped up. Unfortunately, the new lake formed at the site of a graveyard, so they had to dig a canal system to partially drain it. But if you follow the canal, you'll find another cold spring source. This one's so much more visually appealing, as you can see exactly where the springs flow out of the ground.
Beautiful!
So I read somewhere that iPhones are waterproof, and not having any other waterproof camera on me, I decided to test it out. And what do you know? It worked!
Oh, wow!
Right beside the cold springs, you'll find this tea house with a view like no other.
Beautiful!
1,000 tons of water
I
springs
love
up
fish.
every day out of here.
Red, yellow,
Over
white.
here, the cold springs flow out
Beautiful
into the street
koi.
gutters, and the water was so pure that koi started to spawn. Well, not exactly. In 1978, local residents decided to make a tourist attraction by stocking the canals with koi. If you look closely at the canals, you'll find the prison bars. That's right, these koi are being held captive.
Oh!
It's very convenient since you can easily film these koi as they're going nowhere. And once again, the iPhone comes in handy. After the little swim, the speakers stopped working, but hey, it's all about the shot, right? So was the water as clean as it looks? It is. In fact, they have spring water stations located throughout, and even a hot spring one. I'm going to try out this water, see if it's good or not.
And it's clean and safe to drink. It's Mineral
Different
water.
taste. I can't tell you what kind of taste it is, but maybe they're like carbonated.
お水が柔らかい。飲みやすい。
本当?
Spring fountain.
でも同じだ. It's the same as the other one.
熱いよ。熱いよ。
あ
こんぐらいでいいかな。いい？しょっぱ甘。甘じょっぱい。甘じょっぱい。
Sweet and
I thought the
salty.
stations were tourist attractions like the koi. But after spending a few minutes filming, I realized I was wrong. Local after local were pulling up to make use of the free, fresh spring water. There are several locations like here as well. It's said that if you dump water on this turtle's head 20 times, you'll live a long life. I'll let you know how it goes. Yeah, I'll live forever. If you research Shimabara,
Forever.
you'll probably find images of this, a community spot where the water is separated based on usage. Area 1 is for washing fish or other food. Area 2 is for rinsing dishes or food. Area 3 is for washing dishes or food. Area 4 is for laundry. While they did make use of systems like this in the past, nowadays it's a tourist attraction just like the koi. In the castle town part of the city is where the samurai lived, and in one section they preserved what it was like in the Edo era
Guntown.
over 150
Guntown.
years ago. Here, abundant spring water was channeled in the center of the road for daily use. But yeah, this only goes on for a few blocks. The rest of the town
very
looks like this.
peaceful, quiet.
However, there are 60 cold springs throughout the town that indeed provide fresh, clean, slightly carbonated water.
Slightly carbonated.
So one thing I came across
beautiful
online was this
koi.
explanation that
Colorful.
koi fish are known to rely on an extremely high quality of water for survival. So the fact that they can thrive in this peculiar environment is a true testament to the purity of the area's water.
True.
How true is that? No mizurai. Because back in Tokyo, you can also find koi swimming around in the street gutters. But of course I lied. These are not street gutters, but rather water canals that are part of Shinsui Koens. In English, that's a hydrophilic park.
Hydrophilic.
Don't worry, I never heard that term before. So in plain English, it means it's a park for enjoying water.
Oh,
The source of
hydrophilic
this water
park.
depends on the exact location and the time of year. The water is pumped in from the
Beautiful
surrounding
Japan.
rivers, like the Edogawa, Nakagawa, or Shin Nakagawa. And you can often see it flowing out of these rock formations. Since you can find koi in the water, does that mean that the water from the rivers in Tokyo are of extremely high quality? Well, after being processed at the local water plants, it's certainly good enough to drink. You can get it through the water fountains at the park, or the tap from your sink at home. But depending on the weather, it can range from decent to not safe enough to swim in. Heavy rainfalls can overwhelm the purification plants, and untreated sewage can flow into the rivers and then Tokyo Bay. So something that confused me was that a lot of these hydrophilic parks have play areas for kids in the summer. Does that mean that kids are playing in pumped-in river water? The same water that is sometimes not safe enough to swim in? Well, we called up the city office and found that for the sections that kids play in, they use water from the purification plant with added chlorine. These parks are only officially open for playing in the summer, so for the rest of the time, some of them switch back to water pumped directly from the river instead of the purification plant. So during the summer, the answer is no, the water is purified and chlorinated. But at other times of the year, then maybe. But whether the water is treated or not, these systems are separate from the street gutters that flow into the storm drains. However, all the water does find its way back into the rivers they came from. So how clean is water in Japanese street gutters? Generally, they're fairly free of trash and well maintained. If there are koi living in them, then at least for the areas I researched, they are in fact separate water systems and not street gutters. Something that is a bit sad is that right next to the famous example of koi living in the spring water canal in Shimabara, they made a water park for kids.
Water
It even won a
park.
Handmade Hometown Award in 2000 for its high-quality social infrastructure that creates regional charm. But talking to the cleaners, we learned that the users of the park regularly leave trash, so they shut off the flowing water. We shot this after the cleaners came by, but before they started cleaning, it was surprising how much garbage there was. So even in the area with some of the cleanest water in Japan, you'll unfortunately find places that are not so clean. As a whole, Japan's waterways are pretty clean, but not always as clean as you think. Oh no. I was checking the video for errors for the umpteenth time and realized something. While Japanese street gutters are not this clean, this specific street gutter I showed is. It's a unique hybrid street gutter / koi swimming pool, but it's a street gutter. Cars drive down the street and there's nowhere else for runoff to go but into it. As mentioned earlier, there's 1,000 tons of water bubbling out of the nearby spring each day, providing a constant flow of clean water.
Oh,
So yeah,
beautiful.
Japan has a koi-filled street gutter full of clean water. Tell your friends. Now, for those of you concerned about the iPhone, I know you're out there. The speakers did indeed start working again after I spent 10 minutes drying them out with a dryer.
Oh,
If you get a chance to visit, Mount Unzen is quite interesting. On the top, you'll find hot spring fields. But much more fascinating to me is being able to see where the lava flowed upon eruption, the latest big one being in 1991. They have since built dikes to channel lahar flows, which are flows of debris from the volcano. This is Mizumashii River,
Beautiful.
which has been completely filled in by earth and sand dredging. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.
bye.
What are the street gutters like where you're from?
Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the video. Japan is really so beautiful. Wow. This is how clean Japanese people are. Even their street gutters are very clean. Look at those fish. They look so colorful, beautiful, big and fat koi fish. Only in Japan. Well, you know what guys? In my country, Philippines, expect garbage, plastics, mud. Street gutters are not this clean. It's also very smelly. Well, I wish my country Philippines would be as clean as Japan. Here in my place, we only have koi fish inside the mall. But the gutters, no, it's impossible. What we have in our gutters here are frogs, mudfish, rats. I remember when I was in grade school, I could drink tap water. But nowadays, it's impossible. But in Japan, I think tap water is safe to drink, right? Thank you so much to Live Where I'm From channel. This was very interesting. And everyone, thank you also for watching with me. I'll see you very soon.